The more you focus on yourself, the less distracted you'll be by the noise around you. When you focus on your own growth, everything else will fall into place. Your growth is your responsibility. Stop comparing your journey to others and focus on your own progress. When you focus on yourself, you become unstoppable. Do you ever feel like you're constantly comparing yourself to others or trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing? It's easy to get lost in what's happening around you. But here's the truth. Focusing on other people's lives can take you further away from your own goals. Imagine if you put all that energy into yourself instead, into your growth, your dreams, your journey. What would that look like? In today's world, distractions are everywhere, and it's easy to get caught up in the noise. But when you stop comparing yourself to others and start focusing on what truly matters to you, everything changes. You become clearer about your goals, you make stronger decisions, and you start living life on your own terms. In this video, we'll dive into why it's so powerful to focus on yourself and not others. We'll explore how it can improve your productivity, strengthen your relationships, and ultimately lead to a more fulfilling and successful life. Are you ready to unlock your true potential? Stay with me, and let's get into it. Number 1, stay focused on what you can improve. The truth about life is that it will constantly pull your attention in 100 directions. It's easy to get caught up in everything that's happening around you, what others are doing, what they have, what they've achieved. But none of that will bring you closer to where you want to be. The real growth begins when you choose to stay focused on what you can improve, not what someone else can fix, not what you think you're missing, but the things in your life that you have the power to make better. Let's get one thing clear. You can't control everything. The world is chaotic, unpredictable, and full of things that are beyond your reach. But here's the good news. There are things within your reach. There are areas in your life where your actions, your decisions, and your efforts can make a difference. That's where your focus needs to be. Take a moment to think about this. What is one thing in your life right now that you know could be better? Maybe it's your physical health. Maybe it's your mindset. Maybe it's a skill you've always wanted to master. Whatever it is, that's your starting point. Because improvement doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you decide to take control of the things you can change. Now, staying focused on what you can improve requires discipline. It means being intentional with your time and energy. It means choosing to invest in yourself instead of getting distracted by what's happening around you. And let's be honest, it's not always easy. There will be times when it feels like you're not making progress. Times when you're tempted to give up. But those are the moments that matter most. Those are the moments when you need to remind yourself why you started. Here's the thing about improvement. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to fix all your problems at once. But what you do need to do is take small, consistent steps every single day. Because those small steps add up. They create momentum. They lead to transformation. And here's another truth. The process of improvement isn't always glamorous. It's not about big, dramatic changes. It's about the quiet, unseen work you do behind the scenes. It's about waking up early to train when no one's watching. It's about choosing to read a book instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone. It's about doing the hard work that no one else will see but you. Let's talk about mindset for a second. When you focus on what you can improve, you're shifting your mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. You're no longer dwelling on what you can't do or what you don't have. Instead, you're asking yourself, what can I do with what I have right now? This is a game changer because it puts the power back in your hands. And let's be real, life is full of distractions. Social media, other people's opinions, the constant comparison to others, it's all noise. When you focus on what you can improve, you're choosing to tune out that noise. You're saying, I don't have time to worry about what someone else is doing. I have my own work to do. And that's a powerful mindset to have. Now let's get practical. If you want to stay focused on what you can improve, you need a plan. Improvement doesn't happen by accident, it happens by design. Start by identifying one area of your life that you want to work on. Be specific. Don't just say, I want to get better. Say, I want to improve my fitness by running 3 times a week. Or, I want to become a better communicator by practicing public speaking. The more specific you are, the easier it will be to stay focused. Once you've identified your goal, break it down into smaller, manageable steps. Improvement can feel overwhelming if you try to tackle everything at once. But when you break it down, it becomes achievable. For example, if your goal is to get fit, start by committing to 10 minutes of exercise a day. If your goal is to learn a new skill, start by dedicating 15 minutes a day to practice. The key is consistency. And here's something important. Don't be afraid to fail. Failure is not the opposite of improvement. It's a part of it. When you fail, you learn, you grow, you figure out what doesn't work so you can focus on what does. So instead of fearing failure, embrace it. See it as a stepping stone on your journey to becoming better. Let me tell you something about effort. Effort is everything. It doesn't matter how talented you are or how much potential you have. What matters is what you do with it. When you put in the effort, when you show up every day and do the work, you're proving to yourself that you're serious about improving. And that effort, it adds up. It creates results. Now let's talk about patience. Improvement takes time. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a journey, and like any journey, it requires patience. There will be days when it feels like you're not making progress. Days when you wonder if it's even worth it. But let me tell you this, it is worth it. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. And here's the beauty of focusing on what you can improve. It's empowering. It's a reminder that you have control over your life. You may not be able to control the things happening around you, but you can control your actions. You can control your choices. You can control how you respond to challenges. And that's a powerful thing. So, let me ask you this. What's holding you back? What's stopping you from focusing on what you can improve? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the belief that you're not good enough? Whatever it is, it's time to let it go. Because the truth is, you are good enough. You have what it takes to become better. All you have to do is start. And here's one last thing to remember. Improvement is not a destination. It's a journey. It's a lifelong process of becoming the best version of yourself. So don't rush it. Don't compare your journey to someone else's. Just focus on taking one step at a time and trust that those steps will lead you to where you're meant to be. When you stay focused on what you can improve, you start to see possibilities where there once were limitations. You start to realize that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. And that realization, that's where the magic happens. Number 2, the power of self-focus. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere. From social media notifications to work deadlines, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters to you. People are constantly pulled in multiple directions, leaving little room for personal growth, clarity, or even peace of mind. Yet there's a hidden power in being able to direct your attention solely to yourself and your goals. This power is self-focus, and it has the ability to change everything about how you approach life, how you achieve success, and how you find fulfillment. When you focus on yourself and your personal growth, you make a conscious decision to prioritize what's truly important, shedding the distractions and negative influences that could otherwise slow you down. Self-focus isn't about being selfish or ignoring the world around you. It's about directing your energy and attention to what's most important to you in ways that contribute positively to your personal development. It's a deliberate choice to invest in yourself, your mental, physical, and emotional well-being without getting lost in the noise of external expectations. When you focus on your goals, your desires, and your needs, you become more attuned to your inner self. This self-awareness empowers you to make decisions that serve your highest potential, free from the judgment or influence of others. In a world full of external pressures, it takes courage to center yourself and make your own path a priority. At the heart of self-focus is the concept of clarity. When you are fully focused on your own development, you gain a clearer understanding of who you are, what you want, and how to get there. Often, people drift through life, unsure of their true desires because they're constantly distracted by the demands of others. They might be caught up in someone else's expectations or constantly shifting their focus based on what's trendy or popular. However, when you take the time to focus on yourself, you begin to realize what's important and what isn't. This clarity gives you a roadmap for your life, ensuring you're not just living in reaction to circumstances, but actively creating the life you want. Self-focus also strengthens your decision-making skills. The more you direct your attention inward, the more you learn to trust your instincts and intuition. You begin to understand the choices that align with your values and goals. Instead of being swayed by the opinions of others, you develop confidence in your ability to make decisions that are right for you. This leads to a stronger sense of self and a more confident approach to life. You stop second-guessing yourself and start trusting your choices because you've tuned out the noise and honed in on your own priorities. Another powerful benefit of self-focus is its ability to drive productivity and efficiency. When you focus solely on your goals and break them down into manageable steps, you naturally become more productive. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter or get sidetracked by distractions. Instead, you create clear intentions and focus on achieving specific outcomes. Your energy is no longer scattered across a million tasks or obligations. It's focused on what will get you closer to your dreams. This efficiency leads to faster progress, more success, and a deeper sense of accomplishment. Self-focus also plays a crucial role in managing stress and overwhelm. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in trying to do everything at once, which only leads to burnout. People often try to juggle multiple priorities, constantly reacting to external demands, and never taking a moment to check in with themselves. This can lead to mental fatigue, emotional exhaustion, and a lack of satisfaction in life. When you practice self-focus, you are able to eliminate the distractions that contribute to overwhelm. Instead of getting bogged down by tasks that don't align with your true goals, you prioritize what matters most. This helps you manage your energy more effectively and prevents burnout. The less you focus on everything and everyone else, the more you can handle the tasks that are in alignment with your goals. One of the most transformative aspects of self-focus is its ability to improve your relationships. When you focus on yourself and your needs, you cultivate self-love and self-respect, which are essential for healthy relationships. It's impossible to give to others if you're empty inside. By focusing on yourself, you fill your own cup. And when you do that, you have more to give. Healthy relationships are based on mutual respect, understanding, and support. And you can't offer those things if you don't take care of yourself first. Self-focus allows you to set boundaries, communicate your needs, and ensure that you're investing your energy in relationships that are truly meaningful and supportive. In turn, these relationships become more fulfilling and balanced because they are based on the foundation of mutual self-awareness and care. Self-focus also fosters a greater sense of resilience. Life isn't always easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. However, when you focus on yourself and your personal growth, you develop the emotional strength to navigate those challenges. You learn how to bounce back from failures, adapt to changing circumstances, and keep moving forward no matter what. Self-focus helps you understand that difficulties are a natural part of life and that they don't define you. Instead, it's how you respond to those difficulties that matters most. By consistently focusing on your growth, you build a resilience that allows you to face anything that comes your way with confidence and strength. Another key aspect of self-focus is the ability to cultivate gratitude. When you focus on yourself and your journey, you develop a deeper appreciation for the progress you've made and the blessings in your life. You stop focusing on what you lack or what others have, and instead, you become grateful for the things that are already present in your life. This gratitude shifts your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance, making it easier to attract more positivity and opportunity. Gratitude also strengthens your mental health by promoting a positive outlook on life, reducing anxiety, and increasing feelings of joy and contentment. The power of self-focus lies in its ability to keep you grounded in the present moment. In a world where people are constantly distracted by the past or future, self-focus keeps you anchored in the now. It reminds you that the only moment that truly matters is the one you are living right now. Focusing on the present allows you to let go of regrets about the past and worries about the future. It encourages you to fully engage in your experiences and to appreciate the journey rather than being fixated on the destination. This mindfulness enhances your overall sense of well-being, reduces stress, and improves your quality of life. Self-focus also helps you develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. By turning your attention inward, you begin to understand your strengths, weaknesses, desires, and fears. This self-awareness is the key to personal growth, as it allows you to identify areas where you need improvement and areas where you are already thriving. The more self-aware you are, the easier it becomes to make conscious choices that align with your goals. This awareness also helps you recognize when you're out of alignment with your true self, giving you the opportunity to course correct before you veer too far off track. Number 3, the freedom of focusing on yourself. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's survival. In a world that constantly demands your attention and forces you to prioritize everyone else's needs, focusing on yourself is the ultimate act of freedom. It's about choosing to invest in your well-being, your growth, and your happiness over the distractions that surround you. When you shift your energy inward, you reclaim your power, rediscover your purpose, and unlock a life of true freedom. Let's be clear about something. The moment you start focusing on yourself, people will misunderstand you. They'll call you selfish, arrogant, or detached. But their opinions don't matter. What matters is your peace of mind. What matters is your ability to wake up each day and feel good about who you are and where you're heading. That's not selfish, that's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly prioritizing others at the expense of yourself, you'll eventually break. And when you break, you won't be able to help anyone, not even yourself. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring the people around you. It means knowing when to say no, knowing when to draw boundaries, and knowing when to walk away from situations that no longer serve you. It's about recognizing that your time, energy, and attention are limited resources. You can't waste them on things that drain you or take you away from your goals. When you focus on yourself, you're choosing to prioritize what truly matters. Here's the truth. Life is short, and you don't get a second chance to live it. Every day you spend worrying about what others think, chasing their approval, or comparing yourself to them is a day wasted. The freedom of focusing on yourself lies in letting go of that need for validation. It's about realizing that you don't need anyone's permission to live your life the way you want to. You don't need their approval to chase your dreams or their acceptance to feel worthy. Your worth is not determined by their opinions. It's determined by how you see yourself. When you focus on yourself, you begin to understand what truly makes you happy. You start exploring your passions, discovering your strengths, and embracing your flaws. You stop hiding who you are to fit into someone else's idea of perfection. Instead, you start becoming the person you were always meant to be. And let me tell you something, that person is enough. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You don't need to be better, smarter, or more successful to deserve happiness. You just need to be yourself. Focusing on yourself also means taking responsibility for your life. It's about acknowledging that you are the one in control of your future. You can't blame others for your problems or wait for them to solve them. You have to take ownership of your choices, your actions, and your outcomes. This is where true freedom begins. Because when you stop relying on others to fix your life, you realize that you have everything you need to create the life you want. Let's talk about boundaries for a moment. When you focus on yourself, boundaries become non-negotiable. You learn to protect your time and energy because you understand their value. You stop saying yes to things out of obligation and start saying no to protect your peace. And here's the thing about boundaries. They don't just benefit you, they benefit everyone around you. When you're happier, healthier, and more fulfilled, you're better equipped to show up for others. So don't let anyone guilt you into thinking that boundaries are selfish. They're necessary for your well-being. Another thing happens when you focus on yourself. You stop comparing. Comparison is a thief that robs you of joy, confidence, and clarity. When you're constantly looking at what others have or what they've achieved, you lose sight of your own journey. But when you focus on yourself, you stay in your lane. You stop caring about who's ahead or behind because you're too busy working on your own goals. And that's where the magic happens. That's where you start to grow, evolve, and thrive. Focusing on yourself also gives you the freedom to make mistakes. You're no longer living under the pressure of perfection or the fear of judgment. You understand that mistakes are a part of growth. They're not failures, they're lessons. And when you embrace those lessons, you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fall, because every time you do, you're one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. Let's address one of the biggest misconceptions about focusing on yourself, the idea that it's lonely. People think that when you prioritize yourself, you're isolating yourself from others. But the truth is, focusing on yourself creates deeper, more meaningful connections. When you know who you are and what you want, you attract people who align with your values, respect your boundaries, and support your growth. You stop wasting time on shallow relationships and start building real ones. And here's another truth. The freedom of focusing on yourself extends to your mental health. When you make yourself a priority, you learn to manage your stress, cope with your emotions, and take care of your mind. You stop neglecting your needs and start practicing self-care. This doesn't mean indulging in temporary pleasures. It means doing the hard, necessary work to heal, grow, and thrive. It means seeking help when you need it, letting go of what hurts you, and creating a life that supports your well-being. Focusing on yourself is not a destination, it's a journey. It's a daily commitment to show up for yourself, even when it's hard, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about making choices that align with your values, your goals, and your vision for the future. It's about taking small, consistent steps every day to become the person you want to be. And let me tell you this, every step you take is worth it. Every moment you invest in yourself brings you closer to the freedom you deserve. But here's the catch. Focusing on yourself requires courage. It requires the courage to say no to distractions, to let go of toxic relationships, and to face the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding. It's not easy, but it's necessary. Because the alternative is a life of regret, a life where you never truly lived for yourself. And that's no life at all. So, what does freedom feel like? It feels like waking up in the morning and knowing that your choices are your own. It feels like looking in the mirror and being proud of the person you see. It feels like living a life that's true to who you are, not who others want you to be. That's the kind of freedom that comes from focusing on yourself. And once you experience it, you'll never want to go back. Remember this, you are your greatest investment. The time, energy, and love you give to yourself will always pay off. So don't let anyone make you feel guilty for choosing yourself. Don't let them convince you that their needs are more important than yours. Because at the end of the day, the only person who's responsible for your happiness is you. And that's the greatest freedom of all. The freedom of focusing on yourself is about living life on your own terms. It's about breaking free from the expectations of others and creating a life that feels right for you. It's about embracing your individuality, your uniqueness, and your potential. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right time. Start now. Start today. Because the freedom you're looking for is already within you. You just have to claim it. Number 4, be consistent in your efforts. Consistency is the bridge between goals and achievements. No matter how big or small your dreams are, the only way to turn them into reality is by showing up every single day. It doesn't matter how talented you are, how lucky you get, or how many resources you have. None of that will work if you lack consistency. Being consistent in your efforts is what separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. It's not about intensity, it's about persistence. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do repeatedly. Think about it. Consistency is what builds momentum. Imagine pushing a car uphill. The first few steps feel impossible. But as you keep pushing step by step, the car starts to move. The more you push, the easier it gets. That's momentum. Consistency creates that same effect in every area of life. The small, steady actions you take every day might seem insignificant at first, but over time, they compound into massive results. It's the power of accumulation. The key is to stay consistent, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Especially then. Here's the truth. Consistency is boring. There's no glamour in waking up early every day to train, practice, or work. There's no excitement in sticking to a routine when others are out having fun. But this is where most people fail. They chase excitement and avoid discipline. They want instant results without putting in the long-term effort. Consistency, however, requires patience. It's about committing to the process, even when you're tired, discouraged, or not seeing immediate progress. It's about understanding that real growth happens behind the scenes, long before anyone notices. Being consistent in your efforts also means embracing imperfection. You're not always going to get it right. Some days will be harder than others. You'll make mistakes, face setbacks, and feel like giving up. But that's part of the journey. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up anyway. It's about picking yourself up after every fall and continuing the journey no matter how hard it gets. The people who achieve their goals aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never quit. Consistency requires a clear vision. You can't stay consistent if you don't know what you're working towards. It's like trying to hit a target in the dark. You need to know your goals, understand why they matter to you, and break them down into actionable steps. Once you have that clarity, consistency becomes easier. Every small action you take will feel like a step closer to your dreams. And with each step, your confidence grows. You start to believe in yourself and your ability to achieve anything you set your mind to. Let's talk about habits. Consistency is built on the foundation of good habits. If you want to stay consistent, you need to create routines that support your goals. Habits take the guesswork out of the equation. They turn deliberate effort into automatic behavior. But here's the catch. Building habits takes time. It's not about doing something perfectly for a week and expecting it to stick. It's about doing it every day for months until it becomes a part of who you are. The more consistent you are with your habits, the stronger they become. One of the biggest challenges to consistency is doubt. When things don't go as planned, when progress feels slow, or when the results don't match your expectations, doubt creeps in. You start questioning whether it's worth it, whether you're capable, or whether you should just give up. But here's the thing, doubt is a test. It's testing your commitment, your resilience, and your willingness to keep going. The only way to overcome doubt is to stay consistent. Keep taking action, no matter how small. Every step forward silences the voice of doubt. Consistency isn't just about effort. It's about attitude. It's about showing up with the right mindset, even when you don't feel like it. It's about staying positive, focused, and determined, no matter what challenges come your way. Your mindset shapes your actions, and your actions shape your results. If you approach every task with half-hearted effort, you'll get half-hearted results. But if you approach every task with the mindset of giving your best will keep improving. Consistency turns effort into excellence. Let's not ignore the role of discipline. Consistency and discipline go hand in hand. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation runs out. It's easy to be consistent when you're motivated, excited, and full of energy. But what happens on the days when you don't feel like it? What happens when life gets tough, distractions pile up, and your goals start to feel impossible? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. It's saying no to excuses and yes to progress. Being consistent in your efforts also means learning to pace yourself. It's not about doing everything at once or burning yourself out in the process. It's about finding a sustainable rhythm that you can maintain over the long term. Think of it like running a marathon. If you start sprinting, you'll exhaust yourself before you reach the finish line. But if you maintain a steady pace, you'll not only finish, but finish strong. Consistency is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about taking small, deliberate steps every day, rather than big, unsustainable leaps. Another critical aspect of consistency is adaptability. Life is unpredictable and things won't always go as planned. But consistency doesn't mean rigidly sticking to a plan that no longer works. It means staying committed to your goals while being flexible in your approach. When obstacles arise, find a way around them. When setbacks happen, adjust your strategy. Consistency is about staying the course, not staying stuck. It's about being persistent, not stubborn. The most consistent people are also the most adaptable. Consistency also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. When you consistently show up for your goals, you prove to yourself that you're capable, reliable, and strong. You start believing in your ability to overcome challenges and achieve great things. This self-trust is powerful. It pushes you to take bigger risks, set higher goals, and strive for more. Consistency turns self-doubt into self-confidence. It's a daily reminder that you're capable of greatness as long as you keep showing up. Let's talk about time. Consistency teaches you to value time because you realize how much of it is wasted on distractions, procrastination, and excuses. When you're consistent, you learn to prioritize. You stop spending your energy on things that don't matter and start focusing on what does. Every minute becomes an opportunity to move closer to your goals. And when you consistently make the most of your time, you achieve more in months than most people do in years. Consistency is the secret to unlocking the full potential of your time. Here's a harsh truth: success is not guaranteed. Even if you're consistent, there's no guarantee that things will work out the way you want them to. But here's the flip side. Inconsistency guarantees failure. If you give up, slack off, or stop trying, you'll never achieve your goals. Consistency might not guarantee success, but it guarantees growth. It guarantees progress. And it guarantees that you'll become a better, stronger version of yourself. So why not give it your all? Why not stay consistent and see how far you can go? Consistency also shapes your identity. The more consistent you are in your efforts, the more you start to see yourself as someone who is dedicated, disciplined, and determined. This self-image becomes a driving force. It pushes you to keep going, even when things get tough. It reminds you that you're not just working towards a goal, you're becoming the kind of person who achieves their goals. Consistency is not just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. At its core, being consistent in your efforts is about respect. It's about respecting your goals, your potential, and your future. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a step towards honoring that respect. When you're consistent, you're telling yourself that your dreams matter, that your hard work matters, and that you matter. You're building a life that reflects your values, your aspirations, and your true self. And that is the ultimate form of respect. Number 5, the strength of prioritizing yourself. Prioritizing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. It's about understanding that your time, energy, and peace of mind are not infinite. The strength of prioritizing yourself lies in the fact that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you constantly give to others at the expense of your own well-being, you set yourself on a path to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. By putting yourself first, you ensure that you have the capacity to give, to grow, and to thrive. Prioritizing yourself isn't about neglecting others. It's about ensuring that you're the strongest version of yourself, so you can be there for others when it truly matters. In life, people often demand your attention, your effort, and your energy. Friends, family, work, and even strangers pull at you from every direction. But here's the truth. Not everyone deserves a piece of you. You can't say yes to everything and expect to maintain balance. Prioritizing yourself means setting boundaries and knowing when to say no. It's about protecting your time and energy from being drained by people or situations that don't align with your goals or values. Saying no doesn't make you unkind or uncaring. It makes you wise. It shows that you respect yourself enough to guard what matters most. One of the hardest truths to accept is that you can't make everyone happy. No matter how hard you try, there will always be people who criticize your decisions, question your priorities, or demand more than you can give. But here's the thing. Your life isn't about pleasing others. It's about living authentically and staying true to yourself. When you prioritize yourself, you stop chasing external validation and start finding fulfillment within. You realize that your worth isn't determined by how much you do for others. It's determined by how much you honor your own needs and desires. The strength of prioritizing yourself also comes from the clarity it brings. When you focus on your own well-being, your goals, and your dreams, you gain a clearer sense of direction. You stop wasting time on distractions and start channeling your energy into what truly matters. Prioritizing yourself helps you recognize what's worth your time and effort. It eliminates the noise and allows you to concentrate on building a life that aligns with your values. This clarity is empowering. It gives you the confidence to make decisions that serve your growth, rather than decisions that keep you stuck. Let's talk about self-care. Prioritizing yourself means taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health. It's about recognizing when you need rest, when you need support, and when you need to step back from overwhelming situations. Self-care isn't indulgent or lazy, it's essential. It's what keeps you grounded, focused, and capable of handling life's challenges. By prioritizing self-care, you give yourself the strength to face obstacles with resilience and grace. You learn to treat yourself with the same kindness and compassion that you offer to others. Prioritizing yourself also means letting go of toxic relationships. Not everyone in your life is meant to stay. Some people drain your energy, disrespect your boundaries, or hold you back from reaching your potential. The strength of prioritizing yourself lies in your ability to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving you and having the courage to walk away. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary. It creates space for healthier, more fulfilling connections that uplift and support you. Prioritizing yourself means surrounding yourself with people who value you for who you are, not just for what you can do for them. Another aspect of prioritizing yourself is knowing your worth. When you prioritize yourself, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop tolerating situations, relationships, or environments that don't align with your values. You realize that you're not obligated to stay in places where you're not respecting. You realize that you're not obligated to stay in places where you're not respected, appreciated, or valued. Prioritizing yourself means having the strength to demand better for yourself and the courage to walk away when your needs aren't being met. It's about choosing yourself every single time, no matter how difficult it may feel. The strength of prioritizing yourself also lies in the ability to focus on your personal growth. When you prioritize yourself, you make room for self-improvement, learning, and development. You invest in your skills, your passions, and your dreams. You set goals that align with your vision for the future and take deliberate steps to achieve them. Prioritizing yourself means taking charge of your own narrative. It means becoming the author of your own story, rather than letting others dictate the plot. It's about building a life that reflects your values, your passions, and your purpose. Prioritizing yourself also teaches you the power of balance. It's not about neglecting others or ignoring responsibilities. It's about finding a harmony that allows you to take care of yourself while still being there for those who matter most. It's about understanding that you can't give your best to others if you're not giving your best to yourself. Balance is a skill that requires practice, patience, and self-awareness. When you prioritize yourself, you learn how to maintain this balance and create a life that feels fulfilling rather than overwhelming. Here's a hard truth. Not everyone will understand or support your decision to prioritize yourself. Some people will see it as selfish or unnecessary. They might try to guilt you, pressure you, or make you feel like you're doing something wrong. But their opinions don't define your worth. When you prioritize yourself, you learn to let go of the need for external approval. You start trusting your own judgment and listening to your own intuition. You realize that you're the only one who truly knows what's best for you. Prioritizing yourself also means taking control of your time. Time is your most valuable resource, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. When you prioritize yourself, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter and start using it intentionally. You focus on activities that bring you joy, growth, and fulfillment. You set boundaries to protect your time from being consumed by unnecessary obligations or distractions. Prioritizing yourself means recognizing that your time is precious and treating it with the respect it deserves. The strength of prioritizing yourself is also about resilience. Life is unpredictable and challenges are inevitable. But when you prioritize yourself, you build the mental and emotional strength to face these challenges head on. You learn to rely on yourself, to trust your own abilities, and to bounce back from setbacks with determination. Prioritizing yourself gives you the tools to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and courage. It reminds you that no matter what happens, you have the strength to keep moving forward. Prioritizing yourself also helps you discover your true potential. When you stop putting others' needs ahead of your own, you create space to explore your passions, talents, and dreams. You start to see what you're truly capable of achieving. You realize that you have so much more to offer than you ever imagined. Prioritizing yourself isn't about limiting your focus, it's about expanding it. It's about unlocking the possibilities that come from dedicating your time and energy to your own growth and happiness. Another benefit of prioritizing yourself is that it sets an example for others. When you prioritize yourself, you show others that it's okay to do the same. You inspire them to set boundaries, take care of their well-being, and pursue their own goals. You become a role model for self-respect and self-love. Prioritizing yourself isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to those around you. It creates a ripple effect of empowerment and positivity that extends far beyond your own life. The strength of prioritizing yourself also lies in the peace it brings. When you stop trying to meet everyone else's expectations and start focusing on your own, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and anxiety. You create a life that feels authentic and aligned with your values. You find contentment in knowing that you're living in a way that honors your true self. Prioritizing yourself isn't about chasing perfection. It's about finding peace in who you are and where you're headed. Number 6, build a routine that serves you. Building a routine that serves you is one of the most powerful things you can do for your life. It's about taking control of your time and designing a day that helps you grow, stay focused, and move closer to your goals. A good routine doesn't just happen by accident, it's intentional. It's strategic. It's something you create based on your values, needs, and priorities. You cannot expect success or fulfillment if you don't take the time to shape the way you live each day. A routine that serves you is more than just a series of tasks. It's a foundation that supports your mental, physical, and emotional well-being. The first step in building a routine that serves you is to understand your goals and priorities. Without a clear understanding of what you want to achieve in life, your daily routine will lack direction. You need to know where you're going before you can start mapping the path. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish today? What is important to me? What are my long-term goals? These questions will guide you as you design your routine. A routine that serves you is built around your unique goals, and that's why no two routines will look exactly the same. It's not about copying someone else's plan. It's about creating one that fits your life. Once you know your goals, the next step is to set priorities. Not everything on your to-do list needs the same level of attention. When you build your routine, you must prioritize tasks based on what will move you closer to your big picture goals. It's easy to get distracted by small, unimportant tasks, but a routine that serves you helps you stay focused on what truly matters. For example, if personal growth is one of your priorities, Make sure you dedicate time each day to reading, learning, or developing new skills. If fitness is important to you, schedule regular workouts. Prioritizing allows you to give your energy to the things that have the most impact on your life. Time management is a crucial part of building a routine that serves you. There are only so many hours in the day, so you need to use your time wisely. Time management is about making every moment count. Start by identifying how much time you have in a day and breaking it down into blocks for different activities. Be realistic with how much time you allocate for each task. Avoid overscheduling yourself, as that can lead to burnout. The goal is to build a routine that feels sustainable, not overwhelming. When you manage your time effectively, you'll find that you have more space for the things that truly matter to you. Building a routine requires discipline, but with effective time management, it becomes easier to stick to it. Creating a morning routine is a game changer. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. A routine that serves you starts with intention right from the moment you wake up. If you wake up and immediately check your phone or rush into work, you've already allowed outside influences to control your day. Instead, try starting your morning with something that sets a positive and productive tone. Whether it's meditation, stretching, reading, or writing, find an activity that centers your mind and prepares you for the day ahead. A morning routine doesn't have to be complicated or long. It's about setting aside time for yourself before the chaos of the day begins. By starting your day in a calm and focused way, you'll be more equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Building a routine also requires setting boundaries. Your time is valuable, and when you build a routine that serves you, you need to protect it. That means saying no to distractions and interruptions. It means creating space for your priorities without letting other people's demands take over your day. Set clear boundaries for work, family, social media, and other areas of your life. Let others know when you're available and when you need time for yourself. Boundaries help you maintain control over your day and prevent burnout. When you build a routine that serves you, you're not just managing your time, you're also protecting your energy. Balance is essential in building a routine that serves you. A routine should support every aspect of your life, physical, mental, and emotional. You don't want to focus solely on work or neglect your health. A well-rounded routine ensures that you're taking care of yourself in all areas. This balance might look different for everyone, but it's important to include time for things like exercise, relaxation, relationships, and personal growth. The key to a successful routine is making sure it reflects the full spectrum of your needs. When you build a routine that serves you, you'll find yourself thriving in multiple areas of your life, not just one. Another important aspect of a routine that serves you is consistency. The power of routine lies in repetition. It's the small, consistent actions that build momentum and lead to big results. A routine doesn't work unless you commit to it day in and day out. Some days will be harder than others, and it's easy to get discouraged. But when you stay consistent, even on tough days, you build resilience. Consistency helps you make progress, even if it's slow. Over time, those small, everyday actions add up. Whether it's reading a few pages each morning, working out for 20 minutes, or setting aside time for reflection, consistency makes all the difference in creating lasting change. Flexibility is also important when building a routine. Life is unpredictable, and sometimes things don't go according to plan. Building a routine that serves you doesn't mean rigidly sticking to a set of rules. It means being adaptable. If something unexpected happens, allow yourself the flexibility to adjust. You might have to shift your schedule or swap tasks, but the key is to stay focused on your long-term goals. A flexible routine helps you maintain balance even in chaotic times. It's about understanding that life will throw curveballs, but that doesn't mean you have to abandon your routine altogether. Another aspect of building a routine that serves you is tracking your progress. It's easy to feel like you're not making headway if you don't have a way to measure your efforts. Tracking your progress helps you stay motivated and reminds you that your routine is working. Whether it's keeping a journal, using an app, or setting up a checklist, find a method that works for you. Tracking helps you see how far you've come, even if the results aren't immediately obvious. It gives you a sense of accomplishment and reinforces the idea that your routine is moving you in the right direction. When building a routine, it's crucial to avoid perfectionism. Many people get caught up in the idea that their routine must be flawless. They feel like if they don't do everything perfectly, then they've failed. This mindset can lead to frustration and disappointment. But the truth is, no one's routine is perfect. There will be days when you miss a workout, forget to meditate, or fall behind on a project. That's okay. What matters is getting back on track and not letting those setbacks derail your entire routine. A routine that serves you isn't about being perfect, it's about progress. Focus on making small improvements, and let go of the pressure to be flawless. A routine that serves you also involves taking time for rest. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and forget that rest is essential for productivity. If you push yourself too hard without giving yourself a break, you'll eventually burn out. A good routine includes time for rest and recovery. Whether it's a full night's sleep, a day off from work, or a break in the middle of the day, make sure you're giving yourself the time you need to recharge. Rest is just as important as work, because it allows your mind and body to recover and perform at their best. Building a routine that serves you means making time for the things that bring you joy. It's not just about getting things done. It's about living a fulfilling life. Make sure to schedule time for hobbies, socializing, and activities that make you happy. A routine that serves you should include moments of joy and creativity. These moments give you the energy to continue working toward your goals, and they help you stay grounded. When you build a routine that serves you, you're not just working through your day. You're living a life that feels rich, rewarding, and meaningful. Number 7, master the art of discipline. Mastering the art of discipline is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life. It's the difference between achieving your goals and falling short of your potential. Discipline is the foundation of success. It's the ability to stay focused, make the right choices, and take consistent action, even when it's difficult. It's not something you're born with, but something you cultivate over time through conscious effort and persistence. Discipline doesn't come easy, but once you understand its importance and begin applying it in your daily life, you'll see extraordinary results. The first step in mastering discipline is understanding why it matters. Discipline is the backbone of every successful person's life. It's the reason they achieve their goals, whether personal, professional, or academic. Without discipline, it's easy to get distracted, procrastinate, and give up when things get tough. Discipline helps you stay on course, even when motivation fades or challenges arise. It's what enables you to take action when others are making excuses. When you embrace discipline, you stop being controlled by your impulses and start being in control of your life. Developing discipline starts with setting clear goals. Without specific, measurable, and realistic goals, there's nothing to anchor your efforts to. You need a clear sense of direction to guide your discipline. If you don't know what you're working toward, it's easy to get sidetracked by distractions or other people's demands. Goals give you something to strive for, and they provide the motivation to stay disciplined. Make sure your goals are aligned with your values and long-term vision, and break them down into smaller, manageable steps. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, discipline becomes much easier to maintain. A key aspect of discipline is self-control. Self-control means resisting the temptation to give in to distractions, procrastination, and short-term pleasures that derail your progress. It's easy to get caught up in momentary desires, but discipline teaches you to think long-term and prioritize what's truly important. Self-control isn't about depriving yourself. It's about choosing the best option for your future self. You may have to say no to things you want in the moment, but if you stay disciplined, the rewards down the road will be much greater. Practice saying no to distractions, and watch how your ability to focus and stick to your goals improves over time. One of the most important aspects of mastering discipline is creating good habits. Habits are the building blocks of discipline. When you establish good habits, you don't have to think twice about doing the right thing. You do it automatically. Discipline becomes easier when your actions are ingrained in your daily routine. Start small by focusing on 1 or 2 positive habits that will move you closer to your goals. Over time, as these habits become ingrained, your discipline will grow. For example, if you want to improve your physical health, commit to working out for just 20 minutes a day. As you make this a habit, your discipline will naturally expand to other areas of your life. The key is consistency. Once you establish a habit, it's much easier to maintain discipline. Discipline is also about managing your time effectively. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you use it determines whether or not you achieve your goals. When you master time management, you create the space to focus on what's truly important. Prioritize tasks that align with your goals, and avoid wasting time on things that don't contribute to your growth. A disciplined person is intentional about how they spend their time. Use tools like calendars, to-do lists, or apps to help organize your day. Break large tasks into smaller, manageable steps, and focus on one task at a time. By being disciplined with your time, you'll ensure that every moment counts toward your success. Mastering discipline also requires the ability to delay gratification. It's easy to want immediate rewards, but the reality is that success takes time and hard work. Delaying gratification is about choosing long-term rewards over short-term pleasures. Instead of giving in to instant satisfaction, Discipline teaches you to focus on the bigger picture. This might mean sacrificing time with friends to work on a project, or putting in extra hours at the gym instead of lounging around. While delayed gratification can be challenging, the payoff is enormous. The discipline to delay gratification today will give you the freedom and success you desire tomorrow. Another crucial component of discipline is persistence. It's easy to stay disciplined when things are going well, but what about when things get tough? Mastering discipline means having the grit to keep going, even when the road is hard. Life isn't always smooth sailing, and you will encounter obstacles, setbacks, and failures along the way. However, disciplined individuals understand that these challenges are just part of the journey. They push through the difficulties and keep moving forward. Persistence is the ability to keep your eyes on your goal, no matter how hard things get. Stay focused, stay consistent, and remember that discipline is about progress, not perfection. It's also essential to cultivate mental toughness when mastering discipline. Mental toughness is the ability to stay strong and resilient in the face of challenges. When you're mentally tough, you can push through discomfort and keep going even when you feel like quitting. Mental toughness is built over time by consistently practicing discipline, setting and achieving small goals, and developing a strong mindset. The more you push yourself to stay disciplined, the stronger your mental resilience becomes. When you encounter challenges or setbacks, mental toughness allows you to stay focused on your goals without giving in to negativity or doubt. Accountability is another key aspect of discipline. It's easy to make excuses when you're working alone, but having someone to hold you accountable helps keep you on track. Find a mentor, a coach, or a friend who can check in with you regularly and remind you of your goals. Accountability partners are there to encourage you when you're feeling discouraged and to celebrate your successes along the way. They help keep you accountable to the commitments you've made to yourself, and they can provide valuable perspective when you feel lost or uncertain. Surround yourself with people who support your goals and who are committed to your success. Mastering discipline also means embracing discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Discipline requires you to step outside of what's familiar and push yourself to take action, even when it feels uncomfortable. Whether it's working out when you don't feel like it, tackling a challenging project at work, or having a difficult conversation with someone, discipline means facing discomfort head-on and doing what needs to be done. The more you practice stepping into discomfort, the easier it becomes to stay disciplined in other areas of your life. It's through discomfort that we grow and improve, and mastering discipline means welcoming that challenge rather than avoiding it. Another important aspect of discipline is self-reflection. To truly master discipline, you need to regularly assess your progress and identify areas where you can improve. Take time to reflect on your actions, your habits, and your decisions. Are you staying disciplined in the areas that matter most? Are there areas where you could push yourself harder or be more consistent? Self-reflection helps you stay honest with yourself and gives you the insight you need to continue growing. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget to take a step back and evaluate your efforts. But regular self-reflection keeps you aligned with your goals and ensures that your discipline is working for you. Finally, discipline requires self-compassion. No one is perfect, and you will slip up from time to time. It's easy to get discouraged when you miss a goal or break a habit. But mastering discipline means not beating yourself up over mistakes. Instead of dwelling on failures, use them as learning opportunities. A disciplined person understands that setbacks are a natural part of the process, and they don't let them define their journey. Practice self-compassion by forgiving yourself and getting back on track quickly. Remember that discipline is a long-term commitment, and mistakes are just part of the learning process. Mastering the art of discipline is a lifelong process. It takes time, effort, and persistence, but the rewards are well worth it. Discipline is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers. When you master discipline, you take control of your life and your future. You become the person who gets things done, who overcomes obstacles, and who achieves their goals. So start today. Commit to mastering discipline and watch as it transforms every area of your life. Number 8, take ownership of your path. Taking ownership of your path is one of the most powerful choices you can make in life. It means taking full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go. It's about recognizing that your life, your choices, and your future are in your hands. No one else is responsible for your success or your failure. It's easy to point fingers at circumstances, other people, or external forces when things don't go the way you want. But the moment you stop blaming and start owning your journey, everything changes. The power to shape your life lies within you. When you take ownership of your path, you're making a commitment to stop waiting for things to happen and start making things happen. It means realizing that every decision you make, big or small, has a direct impact on your life. Your career, your relationships, your health, and your happiness are all outcomes of the choices you make each day. Taking ownership isn't about blaming yourself for mistakes. It's about taking responsibility for the direction you're moving in. It's understanding that you are the author of your story and you hold the pen. The first step in taking ownership is accepting the reality that you are in control of your own life. No one is coming to save you. You cannot wait for opportunities to find you. You have to create them. You can't rely on luck or hope for someone else to make things happen for you. Taking ownership requires a shift in mindset. It's no longer about being a passive participant in your own life, waiting for things to fall into place. It's about actively shaping your reality and understanding that the choices you make will determine the outcome of your story. One of the biggest obstacles to taking ownership is the fear of failure. Most people are afraid to take full responsibility for their lives because they fear making mistakes. They worry about what will happen if things don't work out. But the truth is, failure is part of the process. Failure isn't something to be feared, it's something to learn from. Every setback is a lesson, and every mistake is an opportunity to grow. When you take ownership of your path, you stop seeing failure as something to avoid and start seeing it as an essential step on the way to success. Embracing failure is one of the most important components of taking ownership because it allows you to move forward without fear of making mistakes. Taking ownership of your path also means making decisions with intention. It's easy to fall into the trap of making decisions based on what others want or expect from you. But when you take ownership of your life, you stop living according to other people's standards. You start making choices that align with your values, goals, and vision for the future. This might mean saying no to things that don't serve you, even if they seem appealing in the moment. It's about doing what's right for you, not what's easy or what others think is best. Another important aspect of taking ownership is understanding that your time is valuable. Too many people waste time waiting for the perfect moment or for someone else to make things happen. But time doesn't wait for anyone. If you're serious about taking ownership of your life, you need to start taking action now. Stop procrastinating and waiting for the right conditions to fall into place. There is no perfect moment. The best time to start is now. Take ownership of your time and use it wisely to build the future you want. Every minute you waste is a minute you can't get back. So be intentional with how you spend your time. Another powerful step in taking ownership of your path is setting clear, actionable goals. When you set goals, you give yourself a roadmap for success. Without clear goals, it's easy to get lost, distracted, or aimlessly wander through life. Setting goals provides focus and direction. But taking ownership means you're not just setting goals, you're also taking full responsibility for achieving them. This requires taking consistent action, staying committed, and pushing through the challenges that will inevitably arise along the way. Your goals should challenge you, but they should also be achievable with the right effort and mindset. It's important to break down large goals into smaller, more manageable steps to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Accountability is a key component of taking ownership of your path. When you take ownership, you're not just responsible for your actions, you're also responsible for the outcomes. This means holding yourself accountable for the progress you make toward your goals. It's easy to make excuses when things aren't going well, but taking ownership means refusing to let yourself off the hook. You have to stay committed even when things get tough. If you're not progressing toward your goals, take a step back and evaluate what you're doing wrong. Adjust your approach, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. Accountability ensures that you remain focused and committed to your journey, no matter the obstacles. Taking ownership also means developing a growth mindset. When you have a growth mindset, you believe that your abilities and intelligence can be developed with effort and practice. You see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, not as barriers to success. People with a growth mindset understand that they can improve their situation, no matter how difficult it may seem. When you take ownership of your life, you stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances. You start to see yourself as someone who can overcome challenges, learn new skills, and ultimately create the life you want. One of the most important lessons in taking ownership is the realization that nobody owes you anything. You are responsible for your success, and nobody is going to hand it to you on a silver platter. The world doesn't owe you success, happiness, or anything else. If you want something, you have to go after it. Taking ownership means rejecting the idea that you're entitled to anything. It means understanding that your success is the result of your own efforts, and no one else's. Taking ownership also means letting go of the past. Too many people allow past mistakes, failures, or traumas to define them. But taking ownership requires you to release the hold that the past has on you. Your past does not dictate your future. You cannot move forward if you're constantly looking behind you. While it's important to learn from your mistakes, you cannot let them prevent you from taking action today. Let go of the past, forgive yourself, and move forward with confidence. Self-belief is crucial in taking ownership of your path. You have to believe in your ability to succeed, even when others doubt you or when things don't go as planned. Self-doubt can be a huge obstacle, but when you take ownership, you learn to trust yourself and your decisions. Believe that you have what it takes to create the life you want. Cultivate self-confidence by focusing on your strengths and reminding yourself of your past achievements. You've already overcome challenges before and you have the strength to do it again. Taking ownership means accepting responsibility for your happiness. It's easy to blame other people or external circumstances for your unhappiness. But when you take ownership, you realize that you have the power to create your own happiness. Happiness isn't something that's given to you. It's something that you create by choosing how you respond to life's challenges. When you take ownership of your path, you stop relying on others to make you happy. Instead, you create your own joy by choosing to focus on the positive and being grateful for what you have. Taking ownership of your path doesn't mean that everything will be easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and failures along the way. But when you take ownership, you don't see these challenges as roadblocks. You see them as opportunities to learn, grow, and strengthen your resolve. The more you take ownership of your life, the more resilient you become. You learn to face difficulties head-on, knowing that they are part of the process. The road may not always be smooth, but you will always be in control of your destination. Number 9, set standards that push you forward. Setting standards that push you forward is one of the most powerful ways to ensure that you don't settle for mediocrity and that you continue to grow and improve. When you set standards for yourself, you define the level of excellence you expect in every area of your life. Standards are not just about what you do. They reflect who you are and what you stand for. They represent the boundaries you set for your behavior, your habits, and your achievements. When you set high standards, you are creating the foundation for a life of purpose and success. Without clear standards, it's easy to drift through life without direction, never achieving your full potential. But with strong standards, you create a roadmap that leads to a better, more fulfilled version of yourself. The first step in setting standards that push you forward is understanding the difference between goals and standards. Goals are specific objectives you want to achieve, such as running a marathon, launching a business, or saving a certain amount of money. Standards, on the other hand, are the qualities or behaviors you expect of yourself every day. They are the non-negotiable elements of your character and work ethic that you uphold no matter the circumstances. Setting high standards is not about perfection. It's about consistently striving to be the best version of yourself. When your standards are high, every action you take becomes intentional, and you are always aiming for excellence. One of the biggest challenges in setting high standards is overcoming the temptation to lower them when things get tough. It's easy to give up or compromise on your standards when life presents obstacles. However, the real growth happens when you refuse to lower your standards. The key is to set standards that are challenging yet achievable. This means aiming for excellence but being realistic about what you can accomplish. Setting standards that push you forward is about making sure that every day you are pushing yourself to improve, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Another important aspect of setting standards that push you forward is aligning them with your values. When your standards reflect your core beliefs and values, they become more than just rules. They become a way of living. If you value integrity, for example, your standard might be to always act honestly and transparently, regardless of the situation. If you value hard work, your standard might be to give your best effort in everything you do, whether it's a big project or a small task. When your standards align with your values, you are more likely to stay committed to them because they become a reflection of who you are, not just something you should do. Setting high standards also means refusing to settle for anything less than your best. This is where many people falter. They do just enough to get by or to meet the minimum requirement. But setting standards that push you forward requires you to go beyond the bare minimum. It's about pushing yourself to reach the next level, even when you don't feel like it. This could mean working an extra hour, giving more effort, or learning new skills. When you set high standards, you stop seeing effort as optional, and instead, it becomes part of who you are. You expect nothing less than excellence from yourself, and as a result, you achieve things that others only dream of. Your standards also need to be specific. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful or I want to be better. You need to define exactly what that looks like for you. For example, if success means being financially independent, your standard might be to save a certain percentage of your income each month. If personal growth is a priority, your standard might be to read a certain number of books each year, or to invest time in learning new skills regularly. The more specific you are with your standards, the easier it will be to stay focused and motivated. Vague goals lead to vague results. But when your standards are clear, you know exactly what you're working toward and what is expected of you. One of the most powerful ways to set standards that push you forward is by surrounding yourself with people who hold you accountable. The people you associate with have a major impact on your standards. If you surround yourself with people who settle for mediocrity, you will likely find yourself doing the same. But when you surround yourself with individuals who are driven, ambitious, and committed to excellence, it pushes you to elevate your own standards. Find people who challenge you, who won't let you off the hook when you lower your standards, and who encourage you to keep pushing forward. Consistency is another key component in setting standards that push you forward. It's easy to have high standards for a short period of time, but the real test comes in maintaining those standards over the long term. Success doesn't happen overnight, and setting standards that push you forward means committing to a daily practice of excellence. It's about developing habits that align with your standards and making them a part of your daily routine. Whether it's waking up early, exercising regularly, or committing to quality work, consistency is what ensures that your standards don't just remain ideals, they become a reality. When you set standards that push you forward, it's important to recognize that growth is a process. You will face setbacks, and there will be days when you fall short of your standards. But the key is to never quit. If you miss a day or fail to meet a standard, don't give up. Instead, use it as a learning experience. Understand what went wrong, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. The most successful people are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who keep going even after failure. High standards don't mean perfection. They mean resilience and the commitment to continuously improve. One of the most powerful results of setting standards that push you forward is the increased self-discipline that comes with it. Self-discipline is the ability to stay focused on your goals and maintain the effort required to reach them, even when you don't feel like it. Setting high standards forces you to develop self-discipline because you cannot achieve your standards without it. Over time, as you consistently work toward your standards, you will find that self-discipline becomes second nature. This will not only help you achieve your goals, but will also spill over into other areas of your life, making you a more disciplined person overall. Setting standards that push you forward is also about recognizing the power of incremental progress. You don't have to make huge leaps every day, but you do need to make consistent progress. When you set standards that are challenging yet achievable, and you make the effort to meet them every day, those small steps add up over time. The key is to stay committed to the process, no matter how slow the progress may seem. Every time you meet a standard, you move one step closer to the life you want to create. Over time, these small actions compound, leading to major changes in your life. Another powerful aspect of setting standards that push you forward is the confidence that comes with it. When you commit to high standards, you begin to see yourself as someone who is capable of achieving big things. The more you meet your standards, the more confident you become in your ability to accomplish even greater things. This confidence fuels your drive and keeps you moving forward, even in the face of obstacles. Remember, setting standards that push you forward is not just about achieving success in one area of your life. It's about creating a mindset of continuous improvement and excellence. When you set high standards, you set the bar for your own growth and success. Your standards shape the person you become, and they dictate the quality of your life. Setting high standards requires commitment, discipline, and consistency, but the rewards are worth it. By raising the bar and constantly pushing yourself to meet your standards, you ensure that you are always moving forward toward your goals and the life you want to create. When you take ownership of your standards and make them non-negotiable, you unlock your full potential and create a life of purpose, success, and fulfillment. Number 10, stop letting distractions control you. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. From the constant ping of notifications to the lure of social media, It seems like there's always something pulling you away from the task at hand. But if you want to achieve anything meaningful in life, you must learn to stop letting distractions control you. Distractions are the silent killers of productivity, focus, and progress. They erode your time, energy, and potential. And yet, many people allow these distractions to dictate their lives, losing hours, days, or even years to meaningless activities. If you're serious about personal growth and success, you need to take control. The battle is between your goals and the distractions that keep you from them. And if you want to win that battle, you need to be intentional, disciplined, and focused. The first step in taking control of your distractions is acknowledging their existence. Distractions are not just external, but internal as well. They can come in the form of thoughts, doubts, or impulses that pull your attention away from what matters. It's easy to think that distractions are just part of the modern world, and in many ways, they are. However, the problem arises when you allow them to dominate your time and thoughts. The more you feed into distractions, the harder it becomes to break free from them. Your ability to focus is like a muscle, and if you don't train it, it will weaken. Distractions are like weights that prevent your muscle from growing stronger. If you allow yourself to be constantly pulled in different directions, your progress will always be slow and uneven. One of the most powerful ways to stop letting distractions control you is to define what matters most to you. When you have a clear vision of your goals and what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to ignore the things that don't align with your purpose. Without a clear vision, distractions are more tempting because you don't have a strong sense of direction. When you're uncertain about what you want, it's easy to drift and get caught up in the next shiny object. But once you define your purpose and set specific goals, distractions become less appealing. They're no longer something you just passively accept. They become obstacles standing in the way of what you really want. Another critical element in overcoming distractions is creating an environment that supports your focus. Your environment plays a huge role in your ability to stay focused. If you're constantly surrounded by distractions, whether it's a cluttered desk, noisy surroundings, or people interrupting you, it will be nearly impossible to maintain focus. You need to create a space where distractions are minimized. This could mean setting boundaries with people, organizing your physical space, or even turning off notifications on your devices. By intentionally controlling your environment, you make it easier to stay focused and in the zone. The fewer distractions you have to deal with, the more mental energy you can devote to the task at hand. Managing technology is one of the biggest challenges when it comes to overcoming distractions. In the digital age, our smartphones, laptops, and other devices are constant sources of interruption. The urge to check your phone every few minutes can derail even the most productive individuals. The key to mastering this is setting strict boundaries for yourself. You need to learn to control your devices instead of letting them control you. One way to do this is by setting designated times for checking your messages and social media, rather than doing it constantly throughout the day. If necessary, use apps or tools that limit your access to distracting websites or apps during certain hours. The more you can detach from your devices during focused work time, the more productive and less distracted you'll become. Another strategy to stop letting distractions control you is learning how to say no. Many distractions come in the form of requests from others. People will always ask for your time, attention, and energy. But you need to learn how to prioritize your goals over external demands. Saying yes to everything means saying no to your own priorities. It's important to realize that every time you agree to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're allowing another distraction to take over your life. Saying no can be uncomfortable, but it's a necessary skill to protect your time and energy. When you say no to distractions, you are saying yes to your own success. You are choosing to focus on what matters most to you and not allowing external demands to control your schedule. A major part of overcoming distractions is training your mind to focus. Our brains are constantly bombarded with information, and it's easy to lose concentration. One of the most effective ways to improve your focus is by practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you are mindful, you are able to notice when your mind begins to wander and gently bring it back to the task at hand. This can be done through meditation, deep breathing exercises, or even simple awareness throughout the day. The more you practice mindfulness, the better you become at staying focused and resisting distractions. Focus is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Time management is another key factor in avoiding distractions. When you manage your time effectively, you give yourself structure and discipline, making it harder for distractions to take hold. One method to manage your time better is to use the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute break. During that 25 minutes, you focus entirely on one task, and when the timer goes off, you take a short break before repeating the cycle. This technique helps prevent burnout while also ensuring that you stay focused during work periods. By setting clear time blocks and sticking to them, you make it easier to resist distractions and stay on track. Accountability can also play a huge role in reducing distractions. When you have someone to check in with, whether it's a friend, mentor, or colleague, you are more likely to stay focused and avoid distractions. Accountability creates a sense of responsibility that motivates you to stay on track. When you know that someone else is aware of your goals and progress, you are less likely to give in to distractions. If you don't have someone to hold you accountable, consider finding a partner or creating a system where you can track your progress and report it to someone else. Accountability adds a layer of commitment that helps you stay focused. A big part of stopping distractions is learning to manage your energy. Distractions often creep in when you're mentally or physically exhausted. If you're tired, your willpower is depleted, and you're more likely to give in to distractions. That's why it's important to prioritize self-care and energy management. Take breaks when you need them, get enough sleep, eat healthy foods, and make time for exercise. When your energy is high, your ability to focus and resist distractions improves significantly. It's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter by taking care of your body and mind. Building a routine that supports your goals is another effective way to stop letting distractions control you. When you have a routine in place, you create a framework that guides your day. Routines reduce the chances of distractions because they eliminate decision fatigue and keep you on track. Start by creating a morning routine that sets the tone for your day. This could include activities like journaling, exercise, or reviewing your goals. A well-established routine makes it easier to stay focused and productive throughout the day. If you don't have a routine, distractions will always have room to creep in. Finally, it's important to be kind to yourself when distractions happen. No one is perfect, and you will inevitably slip up from time to time. The key is not to beat yourself up or let guilt overwhelm you. Instead, acknowledge the distraction, learn from it, and refocus. The more you practice, the better you'll get at resisting distractions. Over time, you'll develop a stronger sense of control and willpower, making it easier to stay on track and reach your goals. Number 11, focus on what you can control. In life, there's so much that is out of our hands. We can't control other people's actions, the economy, the weather, or countless other variables. If you spend all your time focusing on the things that are beyond your control, you will quickly become overwhelmed, frustrated, and stuck. That's why it's crucial to focus on what you can control. By narrowing your attention to the aspects of life that are within your grasp, you gain clarity, power, and the ability to take meaningful action. Focusing on what you can control empowers you to create positive change in your life, regardless of external circumstances. It's the only way to break free from helplessness and start moving forward. The first step in focusing on what you can control is identifying the areas of your life where you do have influence. These areas typically include your mindset, your actions, your reactions, your habits, and your choices. Your mindset shapes how you see the world and how you respond to challenges. It's the lens through which you interpret every experience. Your actions, meanwhile, are the steps you take toward your goals. And your reactions are how you respond to life's challenges. Your habits are the daily routines that either push you forward or keep you stuck. Lastly, your choices define the direction of your life, as every decision you make shapes your future. These are all aspects of your life that you have the power to control. Once you recognize the areas you can influence, you can focus your energy and attention on improving them. One of the most powerful things you can control is your mindset. The way you think about situations, challenges, and setbacks will determine whether or not you succeed. A positive, growth-oriented mindset allows you to see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and setbacks as temporary. On the other hand, a fixed, negative mindset keeps you stuck, preventing you from moving forward. If you want to take control of your life, you must take control of your thoughts. Begin by practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. Recognize when negative thoughts creep in and challenge them with positive affirmations or alternative perspectives. Focus on what you can learn from every experience and shift your thinking toward progress rather than perfection. The more you practice this mindset shift, the easier it will become to maintain a positive outlook, even in difficult times. Another key aspect of control lies in your actions. It's easy to feel powerless when things are out of your control. But the truth is, you can always take action. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. No matter what external circumstances you face, there is always something you can do to move closer to your goals. The key is to stop waiting for perfect conditions or the right moment to act. Conditions will never be perfect, and waiting for the right moment is just an excuse to procrastinate. Instead, commit to taking small, consistent actions every day. These actions don't have to be big or dramatic. Even small steps can add up over time. The more you take control of your actions, the more momentum you build, and the more empowered you feel. How you react to the events in your life is another area where you can exert control. Life isn't always going to go the way you want it to, and there will be plenty of challenges, setbacks, and unexpected twists along the way. However, you always have control over how you respond. You can choose to react with anger, frustration, or despair, or you can choose to respond with calm, resilience, and determination. The key is to take a step back and give yourself time to process before reacting. This allows you to make decisions based on logic rather than emotion. In difficult situations, ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? What action can I take that will move me closer to my goals? Your reactions don't have to be knee-jerk reactions. They can be thoughtful, intentional responses that align with your values and goals. Habits are another powerful area where you can exercise control. The habits you form either support your progress or hinder it. If you're serious about achieving your goals, you need to take control of your habits. Start by identifying the habits that are holding you back. These might include procrastination, negative self-talk, poor time management, or unhealthy lifestyle choices. Once you've identified these habits, replace them with positive alternatives. For example, if you tend to procrastinate, set a timer and work for short bursts of focused time. If you struggle with negative self-talk, practice gratitude and affirmations. Consistency is key when it comes to building good habits, so be patient with yourself. Small changes, made consistently over time, can have a profound impact on your life. The more you focus on cultivating positive habits, the more in control you'll feel. Another critical element of control is your ability to make choices. Every day, you are faced with decisions, both big and small. The choices you make shape the direction of your life. While you can't control every external factor, you can always choose how you respond to them. You can choose to see every setback as an opportunity to learn, or you can choose to give up. You can choose to prioritize your health, even when life gets busy, or you can choose to neglect it. You can choose to invest in yourself and your growth, or you can choose to stay in your comfort zone. Your choices are the most direct way to take control of your life. Every decision you make has consequences, and every choice you make either brings you closer to your goals or pulls you farther away. Focus on making conscious, intentional choices that align with your values and aspirations. A major reason why people often feel out of control is because they allow outside forces to dictate their lives. Whether it's the opinions of others, societal expectations, or external circumstances, it's easy to get caught up in what everyone else thinks or what you feel you should do. However, the only person who truly knows what's best for you is you. You don't need permission from others to take control of your life. You don't need to conform to anyone else's timeline or standards. When you focus on what you can control, you stop worrying about the opinions of others and start making decisions based on what you want and need. This doesn't mean being selfish or ignoring the needs of others. It simply means taking responsibility for your own life and not allowing anyone else to dictate your choices or actions. One of the most significant benefits of focusing on what you can control is the sense of empowerment it provides. When you focus on what's in your power, you realize that you are not a passive participant in life, waiting for things to happen to you. Instead, you become an active creator of your reality. You can create the life you want by focusing on the things you can influence. And over time, you'll begin to see the results. This sense of control brings confidence, clarity, and peace of mind. You stop feeling like a victim of circumstances and start feeling like the captain of your own ship. Of course, focusing on what you can control doesn't mean ignoring everything else. It doesn't mean pretending that external factors don't exist or that they don't affect you. It simply means that you choose to focus your energy on the things you have power over. When you direct your attention and efforts toward the areas that you can influence, you begin to take control of your life and your future. Instead of wasting time and energy worrying about what you can't control, you'll find that you have more resources to focus on the things that matter most. Number 12. consistency beats everything else. The world often celebrates overnight success stories, the individuals who seem to achieve greatness with little effort or time. These stories are exciting and inspiring, but they are not the norm. The truth is, consistent effort is what leads to real, long-term success. No matter how talented, intelligent, or lucky you are, nothing beats the power of consistency. Consistency is the foundation on which you build your success, and it is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. Success doesn't come from a single burst of effort. It comes from showing up day after day, even when it's hard, and continuing to put in the work, no matter the outcome. The people who achieve great things are often those who simply refuse to quit and continue to press forward, one step at a time. In the beginning, when you're starting something new, it's easy to feel motivated. The excitement of a new project or goal is electrifying, and you can work hard for a while. But eventually, that initial burst of enthusiasm starts to fade. The progress isn't as fast as you expected, and the challenges feel bigger than anticipated. At this point, many people give up. They look for shortcuts, or they get distracted by new opportunities that seem easier or more exciting. This is where consistency shines, when you continue to show up day in and day out. Regardless of the setbacks or the slow progress, you begin to build something powerful. You create momentum, and momentum is the secret to success. It's not about doing everything perfectly or having the most talent. It's about doing the work consistently, every single day, even when you don't feel like it. One of the biggest obstacles people face is impatience. We live in a world where everything is instant, from food delivery to social media notifications. We're used to seeing fast results, and when we don't get them immediately, we feel discouraged. The problem with this mindset is that it overlooks the power of long-term effort. No one achieves greatness in a few weeks or months. Success is the result of years of consistent work, even if that work feels mundane or unimportant in the moment. For example, think about an athlete. An athlete doesn't become great overnight. It's the small, consistent efforts training every day, pushing through fatigue, staying disciplined, that lead to success. The athlete might not see immediate results, but by showing up day after day, they get better, stronger, faster. Eventually, all of those small efforts add up to something significant. This principle applies to every area of life. Whether you're working on your health, career, relationships, or personal growth, consistency is the key to improvement. If you want to get stronger, you don't need to lift the heaviest weights on your first day at the gym. What you need is to show up and lift weights consistently, even if the progress is slow. It's the same with your career. You don't have to land your dream job on day one. Instead, focus on showing up every day, giving your best effort, learning as much as you can, and pushing yourself to get better. Over time, your skills will improve, your reputation will grow, and opportunities will present themselves. Another critical aspect of consistency is that it creates habits. When you are consistent in your actions, you start to develop habits that support your goals. Habits are the building blocks of success. When a behavior becomes a habit, it no longer requires significant mental effort. It becomes automatic, and you can execute it without thinking about it. This is why consistency is so powerful. It helps you establish habits that move you forward, even when your motivation wanes. For example, if you consistently wake up early and work on your goals before the day gets busy, eventually, this behavior becomes a habit. It becomes second nature, and you don't have to rely on motivation to get things done. You just do them because that's what you've trained yourself to do. Consistency also builds trust with others and trust with yourself. When people see that you consistently show up and deliver, they begin to rely on you. Your reputation for being reliable, hardworking, and dedicated grows. And this opens doors for you. You become someone people want to work with or be around. But perhaps even more importantly, consistency helps you build trust with yourself. When you consistently take action toward your goals, you start to trust your own ability to follow through. You prove to yourself that you can do what you set out to do, and this builds self-confidence. The more you demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of being consistent, the more confident you become in your ability to achieve your goals. One of the greatest benefits of consistency is that it allows you to focus on the process rather than the outcome. When you focus only on the result, you might feel frustrated or discouraged when things don't happen as quickly as you want. But when you focus on consistently doing the work, the outcome takes care of itself. You stop obsessing over the finish line and instead focus on improving every day. This shift in focus is incredibly freeing. It takes the pressure off and allows you to enjoy the journey, knowing that each step you take is moving you closer to your goal. It helps you stay present and engaged in the process, instead of being fixated on when things will happen. Consistency also breeds resilience. When you keep showing up, even in the face of setbacks and failures, you learn how to handle adversity. You develop the ability to keep going, even when things aren't going your way. Resilience is built by repeatedly facing challenges and overcoming them. And this is exactly what consistency does for you. It forces you to confront obstacles, but it also gives you the chance to overcome them and grow stronger in the process. As you continue to push through difficult moments, you build the mental toughness needed to handle whatever life throws at you. Consistency gives you a sense of control. In a world where so much is outside your control, it's easy to feel powerless. But by consistently working toward your goals, you take control of your own destiny. You can't control the external circumstances, but you can control your actions. And by focusing on what you can control, your effort, your mindset, your habits, you can make progress no matter what's going on around you. This sense of control is empowering. It reminds you that your future is in your hands and that you are the one who determines the outcome of your life. While consistency is undoubtedly powerful, it's also important to understand that it doesn't mean being perfect. Perfection is unrealistic and can actually hinder progress. Consistency is about showing up, even when things aren't perfect. It's about making progress, not achieving perfection. There will be days when you fall short, and that's okay. What matters is that you get back up and keep going. The key is to stay committed to the process, even on the difficult days, and to maintain your focus on what you can control. One of the most challenging parts of consistency is overcoming the temptation to quit. It's easy to give up when things get tough, but that's when consistency becomes the most important. Quitting might seem like the easy option in the short term, but it's the consistent effort that leads to success. When you feel like quitting, remember that the most successful people didn't quit. They kept going, even when it was hard. They kept showing up day after day, and that's what allowed them to achieve their goals. If you can push through those moments of doubt and keep going, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. Number 13, build habits that align with your goals. If you want to achieve anything in life, whether it's success in your career, personal development, or health, the most important thing you need to focus on is your habits. Your habits shape who you are and determine what you achieve. The truth is, it's not your talent, your circumstances, or even your willpower that will get you where you want to go. It's your habits. The way you spend your time, the routines you follow, and the small actions you take each day are the building blocks of your future. So, the first step toward achieving your goals is to build habits that are in alignment with the person you want to become. Habits are powerful because they allow you to take consistent action toward your goals without having to rely on motivation. Motivation comes and goes, and it's not always reliable. Some days you'll feel inspired and energized to take action, but on other days, you'll feel tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. That's when habits step in. When you've developed strong, goal-oriented habits, you don't need to rely on motivation to get things done. You simply follow the routine you've created, and over time, your actions add up to real progress. The first step in building habits that align with your goals is to clearly define your goals. You need to know exactly what you want to achieve. This is where many people get stuck. They set vague goals like, I want to get fit, or I want to be successful. But these kinds of goals are too broad and lack focus. You need to get specific. Instead of saying you want to get fit, set a specific goal like, I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months, or I want to run a 5K by the end of the year. By being clear about what you want to achieve, you make it easier to identify the habits you need to develop in order to get there. Once you've defined your goals, it's time to reverse engineer them. Think about what actions, habits, or behaviors will help you achieve these goals. If you want to lose weight, for example, the habits that will support your goal might include eating healthier, exercising regularly, and getting enough sleep. If your goal is to grow your business, you might need to develop habits like networking, learning new skills, and setting aside time each day to work on your business. Take a close look at the daily actions that are required to reach your goal and start building those into your life. Building habits that align with your goals requires consistency and discipline. It's not enough to do something once or twice and expect it to become a habit. A habit is formed through repetition, and repetition takes time. Research shows that it takes an average of 66 days for a new habit to become automatic, but this can vary from person to person. The key is to stick with it, even when it feels hard. In the beginning, it may seem like you're not making any progress, but that's when you need to keep going. As you continue to repeat the behavior, it will start to feel more natural and easier to do. One of the biggest obstacles to building habits is the temptation to focus on quick fixes or shortcuts. We live in a world that rewards instant gratification, where everything is available at the click of a button. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking there's a shortcut to success. But the truth is there are no shortcuts. There is no magic pill that will instantly make you fit, rich, or successful. Success comes from consistently showing up and doing the work, even when it's boring or difficult. It's the small, consistent actions that compound over time and lead to real results. To build habits that align with your goals, it's important to start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life in one day. Instead, focus on one habit at a time. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, you might start by adding one healthy meal to your day. Once that becomes a habit, you can add more healthy meals or incorporate exercise into your routine. The key is to start with one small change and build on it gradually. When you make small changes that are sustainable, you set yourself up for long-term success. It's also important to track your progress. Keeping track of your habits will help you stay accountable and motivated. You can use a habit tracker, a journal, or an app to record your progress and see how far you've come. Tracking your habits not only helps you stay on track, but it also provides a visual reminder of your commitment to your goals. When you see the progress you're making, it reinforces the behavior and motivates you to continue. Another crucial aspect of building habits is being patient with yourself. It's easy to get discouraged when you don't see immediate results, but remember that habits take time to develop. Don't expect to see a drastic transformation overnight. Success is a long-term game, and building habits is part of that journey. If you miss a day or slip up, don't beat yourself up. Instead, acknowledge it, learn from it, and get back on track the next day. Perfection is not the goal, consistency is. It's also essential to surround yourself with the right environment and people. Your environment has a powerful influence on your habits. If you want to build healthy habits, make sure your environment supports that goal. Stock your kitchen with healthy foods, set up a designated workout space, and remove distractions that might interfere with your progress. Surround yourself with people who support your goals and encourage you to stay on track. If you're trying to build a new habit, having a support system can make all the difference. As you continue to build habits that align with your goals, you'll notice that they start to become ingrained in your daily routine. You no longer have to think about them, they become automatic. When you reach this point, you've successfully built a habit. But the work doesn't stop there. Once you've built one habit, it's time to add another. Keep building habits that align with your goals, and over time, you'll see that you've transformed your life. One of the most powerful things about habits is that they compound over time. When you consistently engage in small positive behaviors, they add up to massive results. Imagine if you spent just 30 minutes a day working on your goals. Over the course of a year, that's 182.5 hours of progress. That's more than 7 full days of work. Now imagine if you combine that with other habits, like exercising, reading, or improving your skills. The cumulative effect of these habits will accelerate your success in ways you can't even imagine. Building habits that align with your goals is the most effective way to ensure long-term success. Success isn't about talent or luck. It's about consistent effort and the habits you form along the way. When you build habits that support your goals, you put yourself on the path to success. The key is to start small, be consistent, and stay patient. Over time, those small habits will lead to big results. So take control of your future by building habits that align with your goals today. Number 14, commit to progress over perfection. Perfectionism is a trap. It's a mindset that keeps you stuck, never truly moving forward. People often believe that in order to succeed, everything must be perfect, every detail must be right, and every plan must be flawless. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist, and if you wait for perfection, you'll waste your entire life. Progress, however, is real. Progress is tangible, it's something you can measure, and it's something you can achieve. Committing to progress over perfection is the key to unlocking your full potential and achieving your goals. The reason perfectionism is such a powerful force is because it feeds on fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of not being good enough. These fears create a paralyzing effect, making you hesitate, second-guess yourself, and avoid taking action altogether. Perfectionism convinces you that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. But the truth is, taking imperfect action is far better than doing nothing at all. If you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions, you'll be waiting forever. Success doesn't come from waiting for everything to be perfect. It comes from showing up, taking imperfect action, and learning as you go. Think about it. Every successful person you admire didn't get where they are because they were perfect. They got there because they committed to taking action, even when things weren't perfect. They didn't wait for the stars to align or for all the conditions to be ideal. Instead, they moved forward with what they had, made adjustments along the way, and continued to progress. The same goes for you. You don't need everything to be perfect right now. You don't need to have all the answers, all the resources, or all the skills. What you need is the commitment to take action, to keep moving forward, and to learn and improve with each step. One of the biggest obstacles to progress is the fear of failure. People are so afraid of making mistakes that they hold back from taking any action at all. They worry that if they try and fail, they'll look foolish or be judged. But failure is an essential part of success. Failure is how you learn, it's how you grow. When you make mistakes, you gain valuable lessons that you can use to do better next time. Instead of fearing failure, you should embrace it as a stepping stone toward success. The more you fail, the more you learn, and the faster you can progress. Perfectionism also keeps you focused on the wrong things. When you're obsessed with getting everything perfect, you spend more time worrying about small details and less time focusing on the big picture. You get caught up in the minutia, and as a result, you waste valuable time and energy. The pursuit of perfection makes you lose sight of what really matters: progress. Instead of obsessing over getting everything right, focus on taking consistent steps toward your goal, even if they're small steps. Each step forward, no matter how small, is progress. And over time, those small steps add up to big results. Another reason perfectionism can be so destructive is that it leads to burnout. When you're constantly chasing perfection, you're constantly pushing yourself to do more, do better, and do it all without mistakes. This mindset can lead to exhaustion and frustration. You might feel like you're never doing enough, that you're never good enough, and that no matter how hard you try, you're still falling short. This cycle can drain your motivation and make it even harder to take action. When you commit to progress over perfection, you free yourself from this cycle. You shift your focus from achieving flawless results to making continuous improvements. This shift in perspective reduces the pressure you place on yourself and helps you maintain a healthier, more sustainable approach to achieving your goals. Letting go of the need for perfection also allows you to be more flexible and adaptable. When you're not trying to force everything into a perfect mold, you're more open to experimenting, adjusting, and pivoting when necessary. Life is unpredictable, and things rarely go exactly as planned. When you commit to progress over perfection, you allow yourself the freedom to adjust your approach as circumstances change. You stop holding on to rigid ideas about how things should be, and instead, focus on how you can keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles come your way. One of the most powerful ways to commit to progress over perfection is to set realistic, achievable goals. When you set goals that are too big, too complex, or too unrealistic, you set yourself up for failure. Instead of focusing on an unrealistic end goal, break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. By focusing on incremental progress, you can celebrate small wins along the way, which will keep you motivated and on track. Every small success you achieve brings you one step closer to your ultimate goal, and each one reinforces the idea that progress is more important than perfection. Another key element of committing to progress over perfection is learning to be kind to yourself. Perfectionism often comes with a harsh inner critic. You constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you need to do better, or that you're failing. But this negative self-talk only holds you back. It prevents you from taking action and from seeing your progress. Instead of being hard on yourself, practice self-compassion. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small they are. Acknowledge your efforts and recognize that every step forward, no matter how imperfect, is progress. Remember, progress doesn't have to be perfect, and it's not always going to be linear. Some days you'll make huge strides forward, and other days you'll take a step back. That's okay. The key is to keep going. The more you focus on progress, the more you'll realize that perfection is overrated. It's the small, consistent actions you take day in and day out that create real change. And when you focus on making progress, you start to build momentum, which makes it easier to continue pushing forward. It's also important to surround yourself with people who support your commitment to progress. Seek out people who encourage you to take action, who inspire you to keep going, and who help you stay focused on your goals. When you're surrounded by people who are also committed to progress, you create a positive, motivating environment that helps you stay on track. Avoid people who focus on perfection or who make you feel like you're not doing enough. Instead, surround yourself with people who value progress and who remind you that perfection is not the goal, growth is. Number 15, practice self-care and self-love. Self-care and self-love are more than just buzzwords. They are vital components of living a fulfilled and balanced life. In a world that constantly demands more from you, more energy, more effort, more time, it's easy to neglect your own needs. We often put others first, chasing external validation or striving to meet unrealistic expectations. However, without taking care of yourself, you can never truly give your best to others. The foundation of a meaningful and successful life begins with you. When you prioritize your well-being, both physically and mentally, everything else in life starts to fall into place. Self-care isn't just about pampering yourself with bubble baths or indulging in occasional treats. It's about making consistent, intentional choices that nurture your body, mind, and soul. It's about listening to your needs, respecting your limits, and giving yourself the time and space to recharge. Many people overlook the importance of self-care because they believe it's selfish. But the truth is, it's essential. You can't pour from an empty cup. And if you're not taking care of yourself, you'll eventually burn out. Self-care is the act of replenishing your energy reserves, allowing you to show up as your best self, ready to face the world with confidence and resilience. The first step in practicing self-care is recognizing that you deserve it. Society often tells us that putting others first is the noble thing to do, but this mindset can quickly lead to neglecting our own well-being. Whether it's in relationships, work, or daily responsibilities, people tend to put others' needs ahead of their own. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, stress, and frustration. The truth is, you cannot give your best to others unless you take care of yourself first. This doesn't mean being selfish. It means recognizing that your needs matter just as much as everyone else's. When you take time for yourself, you're not only improving your own well-being, but you're also better equipped to support and care for the people around you. Self-care isn't a one-time activity, it's an ongoing practice. It's about making small, intentional choices each day that promote your mental and physical health. Start with the basics. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, and staying active. These simple actions can have a profound impact on your overall well-being. Sleep, in particular, is often overlooked, but is essential for emotional regulation and cognitive function. When you're well-rested, you have more energy, more focus, and a better mood. Your body needs rest to repair itself and function at its best. And prioritizing sleep is one of the most effective ways to practice self-care. Eating a balanced diet is also crucial for self-care. The foods you put into your body have a direct impact on your energy levels, mood, and physical health. Fueling your body with nutritious, whole foods gives you the strength and vitality to tackle your day. It's important to focus on what makes you feel good, rather than falling into the trap of restrictive diets or unhealthy eating habits. Self-care isn't about depriving yourself. It's about nourishing your body with foods that help you feel your best. Exercise is equally important, not just for physical health, but for mental well-being as well. Regular physical activity has been shown to reduce stress, improve mood, and boost overall energy levels. Find a form of exercise that you enjoy. Whether it's going for a walk, doing yoga, or hitting the gym, the key is consistency. Incorporating movement into your daily routine will not only improve your physical health, but also contribute to your emotional well-being. Beyond physical self-care, it's important to prioritize your mental health. Practicing mindfulness is a powerful way to nurture your mind. Take time each day to check in with yourself, observe your thoughts, and acknowledge your feelings without judgment. Mindfulness helps you stay present and focused, allowing you to manage stress and anxiety more effectively. Meditation, journaling, and deep breathing exercises are all great ways to practice mindfulness and take care of your mental health. These practices allow you to disconnect from the chaos of daily life and reconnect with yourself, promoting a sense of calm and clarity. Self-care also means setting boundaries and learning to say no. Too often, people overcommit to obligations out of guilt or fear of disappointing others. While it's important to be there for others, it's equally important to protect your own time and energy. Saying no isn't a reflection of your character, it's an act of self-respect. When you set clear boundaries, you're taking control of your life and making space for the things that truly matter. It's okay to say no to things that drain you or don't align with your priorities. By doing so, you're giving yourself the gift of time and energy to focus on what nourishes you. Self-love goes hand in hand with self-care. It's not just about taking care of your physical and mental needs, but also about treating yourself with kindness and compassion. Many people struggle with self-love, often because they've been conditioned to believe they're not worthy of love, or that they must constantly strive for perfection. The truth is, you are worthy of love just as you are. You don't need to earn it or prove it to anyone. Self-love is about accepting yourself, flaws and all, and treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a close friend. It's about celebrating your achievements, no matter how small, and acknowledging your worth. One of the most powerful ways to practice self-love is through positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on your self-esteem and overall well-being. If you constantly criticize yourself, focus on your flaws, or compare yourself to others, you'll never feel good enough. Instead, practice speaking to yourself with kindness and encouragement. Celebrate your accomplishments, recognize your strengths, and remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect. You are your own biggest advocate, and the way you speak to yourself shapes how you feel about yourself. Self-love also involves letting go of negative beliefs and habits that hold you back. Many people carry limiting beliefs about themselves, ideas like, I'm not good enough, I'll never succeed, or I don't deserve happiness. These beliefs are not truths. They are just stories you've told yourself over time. To practice self-love, you must challenge these beliefs and replace them with positive, empowering thoughts. Recognize that you have the power to change your story, to rewrite your narrative, and to step into a life filled with love, joy, and abundance. Letting go of these limiting beliefs will free you from the chains that hold you back and allow you to embrace your full potential. Building self-love also means forgiving yourself. Everyone makes mistakes, and everyone has moments of weakness. Holding on to guilt, shame, or regret only keeps you stuck in the past. To truly love yourself, you must practice forgiveness both for yourself and for others. Recognize that mistakes are a part of life, and they don't define who you are. You are worthy of forgiveness, and you are worthy of moving forward. Let go of the past. Embrace the lessons it has taught you, and focus on the present moment. Every new day is an opportunity to start fresh and create the life you deserve. Finally, practicing self-care and self-love means embracing the idea of balance. Life isn't about perfection, it's about balance. It's about taking care of your physical, mental, and emotional health, while also making time for the people, passions, and activities that bring you joy. It's about finding the right rhythm for your life and creating space for the things that matter most to you. When you practice self-care, Number 16, your focus shapes your future. The power of focus cannot be overstated. It's the driving force behind everything you do, the one thing that determines where you'll end up. Your future is built on the decisions you make today, and those decisions are shaped by where you choose to place your focus. If you focus on growth, you'll grow. If you focus on excuses, your life will be full of them. Where your attention goes, your energy flows, and that energy will either build you up or hold you back. In life, there are always distractions. People, situations, temptations, and countless other things that can steal your attention. But here's the thing. The more you focus on them, the less you focus on yourself, your goals, and your vision for the future. The world is full of distractions that can pull you away from your true path. But if you're truly serious about shaping your future, you have to learn to ignore those distractions. You have to be selective about where you place your focus. Every time you focus on something that doesn't serve your future, you're wasting time that could be spent working toward your dreams. One of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal is the ability to choose your focus. You have the power to decide what matters and where your attention will go. Your future isn't determined by luck, circumstances, or what others do. It's determined by your choices, and the most important choice you make every day is where to place your focus. The beauty of this is that it gives you control. You are in charge of your own life, and your future is entirely shaped by what you focus on. Focus on your goals, and everything else will fall into place. When you're clear on where you want to go and what you want to achieve, everything becomes easier. You won't get lost in the noise. You won't be swayed by opinions or distractions. When you have a clear goal and you're laser focused on it, you start to make decisions based on that goal. Everything you do aligns with your vision. You begin to move with purpose, and each day brings you closer to the person you want to become. But here's the kicker. Focus requires discipline. It requires you to make a conscious effort every day to ignore the things that don't matter. And this is where most people falter. They get distracted by the opinions of others, by the need for instant gratification, by the fear of failure. They let these things pull their attention away from their goals. But successful people don't do this. They keep their eyes on the prize and don't let anything or anyone take them off course. To be truly focused, you need to be selective about where you put your energy. You can't afford to waste it on things that won't get you closer to your dreams. Every moment counts. Every minute you spend focusing on someone else's success, someone else's drama, someone else's opinions, is a minute you could have spent improving yourself, learning something new, or working toward your goals. The energy you spend today creates your future. If you're focusing on negativity, distractions, or comparing yourself to others, that's the energy you'll carry with you. But if you focus on growth, on learning, on developing yourself, your future will reflect that. It's important to note that focusing on your future doesn't mean ignoring the present. It means making the present count. It means living in the now while also keeping an eye on where you're headed. When your focus is aligned with your goals, every action you take today becomes a step toward your future. You start to act with intention. You don't waste time. You start to recognize that everything you do today is laying the foundation for tomorrow. The way you show up every day determines how successful you'll be in the long run. Your focus is like a compass. It guides you in the right direction. But just like a compass, you need to check it regularly to make sure you're still on course. If you get off track, all it takes is a simple adjustment to bring you back to the right path. This is why it's important to stay aware of where your focus is going. The more consistently you focus on your goals and your vision, the more powerful your future becomes. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You start to develop habits that support your success. Your mind starts to become your greatest asset. Let's talk about distractions for a moment. Distractions are everywhere. Social media, gossip, television, other people's problems. These things can steal your focus without you even realizing it. They make you feel like you're doing something when, in reality, you're just spinning your wheels. They give you the illusion of progress, but they do nothing to get you closer to your goals. If you spend too much time on these distractions, you'll find yourself stuck in the same place, unable to move forward. But here's the thing. You have control over how much time you allow distractions to take. The moment you recognize a distraction for what it is, you can choose to ignore it. Every time you say no to a distraction, you say yes to your future. Every time you put your phone down, stop scrolling, and focus on what matters, you move closer to becoming the person you want to be. Your future isn't created by chance. It's created by the focus and attention you give to the things that matter most. It's created by your decisions today. If you focus on self-improvement, your future will be full of opportunities. If you focus on building strong relationships, your future will be filled with support and love. If you focus on your health, your future will be full of energy and vitality. Everything you focus on today becomes a part of your future. So make sure that focus is intentional, meaningful, and aligned with the person you want to become. As you continue your journey, remember that focus is the key. It's the one thing that can truly shape your future. It's the one thing that will carry you through the hard times and keep you moving forward when it feels like everything else is falling apart. Focus on what matters. Focus on your goals. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Because the more you focus on your future, the more your future will reflect that focus. And this doesn't mean there won't be setbacks or challenges along the way. Life is full of them. But when you're focused on your goals, setbacks become opportunities to learn. Challenges become stepping stones to success. The more focused you are, the more resilient you become. Your focus will help you weather the storms and come out stronger on the other side. It's a process, and that process begins with where you place your attention. So, where is your focus right now? Is it on the things that will push you forward? Or is it stuck on distractions that hold you back? The good news is that you can always change your focus. You have the power to choose where you place your attention. And in doing so, you shape your future. Stay focused on what matters and watch how your life transforms. Number 17, eliminate what doesn't add value. Every day, you make choices about how to spend your time, energy, and resources. The way you manage your focus and attention has a direct impact on your future. One of the most crucial steps you can take in your journey toward growth and success is learning to eliminate what doesn't add value to your life. It's about clearing the clutter, shedding the things that don't serve your purpose, and making space for what truly matters. Your life, your goals, and your future deserve nothing less. The truth is, too many people are stuck in situations, habits, or environments that drain their energy and limit their potential. They hold